Kenny Ray Coach Carter. There is an old belief that sports can never be reality, yet there are countless examples of prominent people that came from a background in sports. Teachers have long been charged with shaping and molding the young minds of the future, and since coaching is a form of teaching, how can the impact of sports on life be denied? Coaches take the responsibility of teaching young people valuable lessons about sports and life. One such coach had a movie made about him. Kenny Ray Carter was the inspiration of the movie Coach Carter, which told the story of Carter's way of coaching and how it had such a dynamic effect on the lives of his players. Education comes first. Kenny Carter was all about learning and education. Carter's upbringing focused strictly on achieving the highest levels of education, while sports served as a pleasant distraction. It was after Carter attended George Fox University and played basketball that he discovered his true calling. Carter was not heading to the NBA, nor was he aiming for that. Instead, Carter wanted to teach youth the importance of academics and how books and not basketballs were going to be the keys to their lives moving forward. While Carter's ideals were nothing new, certainly not to the gaze of Hollywood, his message and enforcement of said message definitely caught the attention of his players and their community. Coach Carter. Carter returned to his hometown of Richmond, California, to coach his old high school boys basketball team. What Coach found when he got to Richmond was that the team needed to be whipped into shape on and off of the basketball court. Poor attitudes, steadily declining and low grades, combined with a losing basketball team is what Carter discovered immediately upon his arrival, but he was unwavered in his discipline and focus. Contract. Coach Carter developed and enforced a contract that players signed. The contract was simple enough: maintain good grades, behave respectfully, and adhere to the team's dress code. Carter knew that if the team of young men was going to change, he had to stick to policing his contract. Grades began to fall for players on Carter's Oilers. This was not a big deal to Carter. The astonishing attitude of his players that this violation of the contract was going to continue because the team had yet to lose a game that season. Maintenance of a minimum C+ grade point average was the one academic stipulation that Carter demanded of his players through the contract, and when Carter noticed the falling grades, he locked his team out. Locked out. In one season during Carter's tenure, 1997-2002, the culmination of bad behavior and slipping grades forced Carter to take drastic measures and lock the team out of the gymnasium. This lockout prevented players from practicing and playing, and most importantly, continuing its undefeated season. Carter padlocked the basketball gymnasium. None of the players could play ball, and the team's season was on pause. With the threat of an undefeated season being lost because of bad grades, tensions came to a boiling point surrounding Carter carrying out this form of punishment and sticking to it. Parents and the community as a whole were outraged with Carter's decision to keep his Richmond Oilers from playing. Carter is confronted by the school board and eventually is overruled, with the board ending the lockout of the players. The end. Carter is defeated and ready to quit, but sees a moment where his perseverance and dedication are realized. Carter walks into the gym to find his players studying at desks under the supervision of teachers. Message delivered. The players maintain that although the board forced the end of the lockout, they believed in Coach Carter's message to them. No player was going to be forced to play until they fulfilled their end of the contract they agreed with Carter. Carter's Oilers return to the basketball court and make it to the playoffs before suffering a tough defeat to St. Francis. This was not the typical ending that most were expecting, but Carter was on set to ensure the authenticity of the film. Hollywood ending. No thanks. We are all aware of how Hollywood-directed movies famously stray from the original concept for entertainment and financial purposes. Carter maintains to this day that the film is almost 99% accurate. It was only the portrayal of the players and their journey that seemed to cause a bit of a controversy once the film Coach Carter was released. Many of the former players admitted to struggling, but found the acting to be too much. Not much of an exciting Hollywood story after the players left Richmond High. Former players from the season that inspired Coach Carter have blended into society, and not much has been heard from them since the debut of the movie in 2005. The most important note is that all of the players, 4 to 5, from that season went on to attend university, college. Specifically, Carter's son Damien broke all of his father's high school basketball records and attended the U.S. Military Academy, West Point. Kenyon Stone went to Sacramento State University, where he got his degree in communications. Tivo Cruz became a starting guard at Humboldt State University, and Jaron Warren Williams went to San Francisco State University on a full scholarship and played guard for the 4 years that he attended the school. Despite Coach Carter being a film released by Hollywood directors, more than discrepancies, Carter was adamant that the truth about the team not winning at the end also be told and even highlighted. Even when commissioned as a casual consultant, Carter was coaching. His message, was not to be altered or diluted in any fashion. That's a wrap. Mirrors reflect back to us an image of what we see, but sometimes we do not see everything that is being shown. The film Coach Carter realistically mirrors the story and life of fabled high school basketball coach Ken Carter. Carter's results on the court turned the team around, but the educator and activist influenced a group of young men to take their education seriously. From 1997 to 2002, every one of Carter's players graduated high school. For Coach Carter, having a 100% graduation rate for his players was the same as winning the state championship.